So recently there's been a big problem going on in the Wuthering Waves community, which I just needed to talk about. As you know, Wuthering Waves recently released their version 1.3 update, which was the Black Shores. Now, you're probably tired of me saying that, but I think it's very important to point out that this was a very enjoyed story. I think the majority of people actually thought this was good, and it also brought a lot of new people and also existing players that maybe took a little bit of a break from the game back to the game, which I think is absolutely amazing. And obviously we've seen a massive influx of people coming back to Wuthering Waves, which is great for the game overall, as it increases revenue, as it increases player base, and obviously this allows Wuthering Waves and Kuro Games to make better updates and just kind of have a more stable income for the future. But recently there's been some infighting in the community about the story specifically, which we're going to get into in this video. Now, there's actually been a lot of content creators that have pointed this out, and I've kind of made a point at a lot of the community members being a little bit weird over the Shorekeeper's story, which I thought we would discuss in this video and kind of talk about the wrongs and rights of this entire situation and what Wuthering Waves can do in the future. But before I get into this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy it, and also go to my Twitch where I'm going to be streaming a ton. We've had a ton of really cool streams already, and I definitely recommend going down to the pinned comment, because if you go down there, give me a follow, then you get notified whenever I go live, and that way you don't miss a stream. So definitely recommend coming and joining us, and yeah, I will see you guys over there. But let's get back into the video. So what kind of sparked this whole entire video idea, or this kind of video discussion, is this tweet from Stix, where he says, "Alright, I need some of you guys to pitch in here. The last 3 streams I've streamed Wuthering Waves, I've had complaints from various people telling me I'm playing the game wrong because I play female Rover, and that the real way to play is only to play male Rover, that male Rover is more real, the male Rover is more impactful because of the male to female relationship between him and characters like Yilin, Changli, and Shorekeeper. Do any of you feel that way, that the real way to play this game is male to female and female to male only? To me, at the end of the day, they're the same character with the same lines, same personality, same likes and dislikes. They're not a gender, they're a character. A granted fictional person, they don't need to be male or female to be loved or in love. That's something you can't control. I love playing female Rover because I like her aesthetic more, that's it. It doesn't lessen my impact of scenes or relationships, I feel them just as deeply. It bothers me a little how some people can come into streams to tell you there's only one real gender if you care about the love story and relationship between characters, which again, I think is absolutely weird as hell. Like, there's been a ton of people doing this, and I think it's kind of, you know, become a thing more with the Black Shores, because obviously we had the whole Shorekeeper story where she said, you know, is this love kind of thing, and that was a massive line that a lot of people kind of doted over, because again, it kind of brings up this whole kind of self-insert kind of thing. And although I don't have the specific analytics for this, you can probably guess that a large amount of the player base is probably a male player base, which again, a lot of people do like to kind of self-insert and kind of, you know, go to the male Rover character because, you know, they're a male or whatever. But I don't think you should be going into other people's streams and kind of attacking them for playing a certain character. Now, me personally, I play female Rover as well. I don't really think male Rover impressed me that much in terms of his overall design. I definitely think female Rover is much more appealing. Now, obviously, that's just my opinion, and you can play male Rover if you like. I don't really care. Like, it doesn't really matter. But just as Stix said, I definitely feel the scenes just as much with the female Rover as someone with maybe the male Rover might feel, because obviously, you know, it's almost like watching an anime. If you kind of get what I mean, because I'm not exactly self-inserting in any kind of story. I think that's kind of weird to do, honestly. Now, I'm not saying you can't do it if you don't want to. I definitely, you know, if you want to do it, then go ahead. I don't really care. But the thing is, for me, I definitely, you know, just kind of watch it like an anime. So I'm kind of interested in the characters, including the female Rover, and it doesn't really affect my gameplay whether, you know, there is some kind of relationship between a non-male and female kind of thing. I don't really care, and it doesn't really, you know, bring any kind of, you know, downfall to the story. But it's gotten to be quite a big issue, as other creators have also talked about it, like Ryuku-sensei saying, I literally don't understand why people saying that, yeah, I ship male Rover with Shorekeeper but not female Rover or vice versa, or literally any MC from any other gacha game. They're quite literally the exact same person when it boils down to it. And this was in response to a tweet from Narashio, who obviously tends to be quite neutral whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, you know, they literally just repost a ton of trailers and things like that. But they're saying to Wuthering Waves players, there isn't a better Rover between male and female. They both share the same role and storyline. The choice is entirely up to your own imagination, whether you prefer male Rover or female Rover. It's all about how you experience the game. Personally, I play both, and each offers a fun, dynamic experience, which I think is absolutely correct. I think that there has been a big shift in what characters people are actually choosing recently, because if you remember, back when the game first came out, people were saying not to choose male Rover, and even, you know, I was quite guilty of that as well, because obviously I think that the female Rover design is better, but again, people can play who they want, and it's funny to see this shift from people going, don't play male Rover because his design's more boring, to now play male Rover because it's a self-insert and you have to play it because it's a self-insert. again, it's totally weird for this to be happening, and I don't really see why there are people attacking creators and going into their Twitch chats and saying you're playing it wrong and that the only real way is to play male Rover, because I think that's just stupid, you know? People can play a game how they like, exactly the same to previous discussions I've had on this channel about the story. People can enjoy the story if they want, and people can not enjoy the story. It doesn't really matter. It's all up to your own personal preference on whatever you like, and it seems like Stix, and also myself, do like playing female Rover on Wuthering Waves, and I don't think you should be attacked in a chat for that. And also, obviously, Narashia plays female and male, so yeah. There's also this tweet from Rednu as well, saying a lot of Wuthering Waves fans have an obsessive trauma over being cucked. Female Rover is inferior to them and absolutely cannot be shipped with Shorekeeper because it opens the possibility of Shorekeeper being non-hetero, putting them that much closer to the absolute greatest fear, which again, I think is totally true. I think people are scared that there is the slightest chance that she might like women. It's like, oh my god, it's gonna be the end of the world and, you know, she doesn't like you because you're a man. It's like, no, come on. You're getting into it a little bit too much. It's just a game, it's just a character, and they're not real. I think that's what a lot of people need to remember. And he also put down this little, I think it's a 4chan post here, talking about the Wuthering Waves story if it was to be the Genshin Impact story, which I think is absolutely funny. So they pretty much say, instead of meeting Yap Yap and Yahoo, you meet Zhangli Yao. Abby whines that she's hungry, you both get teleported to the Black Shores, you get teleported because you're the leader, and Zhangli Yao gets teleported because Shorekeeper sees the great potential for it. Abby whines that she's hungry, you fight your way across the island. When you get there, Zhangli Yao's already there with the Shorekeeper waiting for you. Zhangli Yao is the one that figures out what's wrong with the Tethys system. Abby basically regurgitates all the technobabble to analogies that 5-year-olds can understand. Instead of going your own way, you'll have Zhangli Yao tell you that nobody should be left behind. Abby whines that she's hungry. Cool cinematic where Rover clears all the tacit discords will be replaced with Zhangli Yao clearing the room instead. You hold back digital tacit discords while Zhangli Yao reaches his hand to save Shorekeeper. Zhangli Yao tells Shorekeeper, welcome home. Abby comments how good the two look together. Abby comments how it's good to capture moments like this. Rover leaves him alone as he quietly closes the door on his way out, and Abby whines that she's hungry again, pretty much saying that Zhangli Yao just, you know, cooked the Rover there, which again, I think is absolutely funny because that is exactly how a Genshin Impact story will go. And again, I definitely think that having this kind of, you know, the main character being involved in the story a lot more is a very, very good thing for the community. And I definitely think that it's much better than whatever slop this is that is kind of been made up as a Genshin Impact story, but for Wuthering Waves. I definitely think that, you know, having the main character involved in a lot of the story is good. But I definitely think that at the moment we are seeing a lot of the female characters being kind of gravitated towards the Rover. And that's why a lot of people are getting more and more angry at the possibility that some of these characters aren't hetero, because, you know, the more women that go over to the Rover, the more people that realize, wait, there's some people that play female Rover, which means that they could possibly like women. I mean, you know, there's going to be people that are going to go absolutely nuclear over that, which is just crazy. And yeah, I think Wuthering Waves are definitely creating this kind of world where a lot of them are just kind of gravitating towards Rover. Obviously, we've had the Shorekeeper, who literally, you know, straight up says, you know, is this love kind of thing, which kind of proves that kind of relationship there. We've also had other characters in the past like Jinshi and Changli, who are again kind of gravitated towards Rover, and then we've got future ones coming out too, like Camellya, who definitely seems very interested in the Rover. So again, we'll just have to wait and see what kind of happens with that. And I think one thing that Wuthering Waves can improve on is kind of creating characters that don't do that. I definitely think that if they do that, then these kind of community members will kind of calm down a little bit, because again, it's less about the relationship with all the characters towards the Rover. It's more about the relationship of the characters in between themselves. But again, I don't think that they should necessarily stop. I think that a lot of people do like this kind of stuff anyways, and I think it's down to personal opinion whether you like this kind of stuff. Me personally, I think it's alright. I don't really care too much about it. I'm not the biggest, you know, story fan, but I do enjoy playing the story. It's just like, you know, it's not really the biggest of deals if it's not like peak cinematics, because again, it's a gacha game. I don't really care. It's really not that big of a deal. But it is a big deal whenever a lot of fans, you know, take a lot of this stuff way too seriously and go over to people's chats and kind of say this kind of stuff, which I think is absolutely absurd. So if you are one of these people, then definitely stop. You know, people don't appreciate it. No one cares that you think that the right way to play is with only the male Rover. And yeah, I just think this was a stupid kind of thing overall. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Do you think that, you know, this is a bad thing that's happening in the community at the moment? Do you think that people are getting too kind of gung-ho about the male Rover is the only way to play kind of thing? Because I definitely think it is kind of crazy to be, you know, attacking people for that. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. If you did enjoy it, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And also go to my Twitch, as I said, we've got a ton of stuff going on over there. Go down to the pinned comment or the description below. The link will be there. You can go over, give it a follow, and then yeah, you'll get notified whenever I go live. But yeah, that's about all I got, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.